It's the only logical conclusion. What else are you going to do? Trust a bank? Will you trust them? There's nothing else to do with it. I'm actually at the point where, although I do own quite a lot of property, I don't want any more. And I keep getting offered nice property deals, and Tristan's like, should we buy this? It's like, no, I don't even trust the Romanian government or the Russian government. I have property in Moscow. I don't even trust the government anymore. I don't even want a property because if I piss the government off, they're just going to take it.
Because Bitcoin is just pure money, right? It's just as effective at 100,000 a coin as 10,000 a coin. And at 1 million a coin, it's just as effective. And at 10 million a coin, it's probably more compelling at 10 million a coin than 1 million or 100,000 a coin. It's kind of a universally scalable asset that gets less risky. The only thing that's going to change, in my opinion, is when it was super risky and scary below 10,000, you were getting 100 to 200% a year annualized gains. And then when it got a bit more understandable between 10,000 and 100,000, your gains go to 40 or 50% a year. And then at some point they go to 30 and then 20. And you know, in the extreme, if everybody in the world understood Bitcoin, it would be 20, 30, 40% of the wealth of the world. So it would be 200, 300 trillion in today's dollars. And then the price would be appreciating at the rate of global inflation in the fiat currency. So if global inflation rate remains at 7, it would still be appreciating at 7. And then it would appreciate a little bit more because of the productivity of the people that adopt it as a treasury reserve.
You can actually control and own your money. You can actually have your money, right? How else are you going to have it? In cash? And then you got to deal with the inflation? How difficult is it to move serious cash? I had to send, it's about 4 years ago, I sent $900,000 to Qatar for a completely legal reason.
Why?
I wanted to buy a property in Qatar. So I was involved in the purchasing of a property in Qatar. The backflips, the paperwork, the legal nightmare. I swear to God, I was put on a travel list because for about a year after that, I was stopped at every airport just for a bank transfer, right? No problem with Bitcoin. No problem. So it fixes a whole bunch of problems, cryptocurrencies. It certainly does. And I think a lot of people who are forward thinking and believe the things I believe in, it's the only logical conclusion. What else are you going to do? Trust a bank? Will you trust them? There's nothing else to do with it. I'm actually at the point where, although I do own quite a lot of property, I don't want any more. And I keep getting offered nice property deals, and Tristan's like, should we buy this? It's like, no, I don't even trust the Romanian government or the Russian government. I have property in Moscow. I don't even trust the government anymore. I don't even want a property because if I piss the government off, they're just going to take it. I don't own it. They say you own it until you annoy the government, then you don't own it, right? So I don't even want property anymore. I'm going full crazy Mr. Blockchain now because it's the only time I feel like I have control over things. And we're losing control at such a rapid rate. I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve. People saying, oh, I'll just buy a house and it's my little house. It's not your little house. You'll see how quickly they'll take your little house from you. Look what they've done so far. They've taken your business from you. You think they want to take your little house? People are not scared enough of the right things. They're scared of Corona. They should be scared of what the government did to them in the name of Corona. That's what they should be. But people aren't logical. People aren't logical. People have low IQs. They're slaves. And they're too busy, preoccupied with racism and all this other garbage to keep them split so they can't all get together for 5 seconds and start thinking, wait, this is bullshit. You remember the big Bitcoin crash, $5,400 at the beginning of this Corona thing? When it really, really tanked. And everyone's saying, it's over, all this crap. I put a tweet up that I still retweet to this day saying, you're all pussies. Bitcoin's coming back. I think I said, I'm buying $600,000 today and we can talk when it's 8,000. I think I said that. So I've turned 600 grand to like $12 million. Because I had cash in a bank, and when everything hit the fan, the first thing I thought was, I don't want cash. I want something else. Give me an asset. Okay, well, how can I get an asset that the government can't take? Bitcoin.
Is Bitcoin going to make us rich again? Richer, double rich? Yes, I'm investing in some other coins that I believe in. I'm going to tell you what they are. Because I think the Bitcoin halving is going to have a positive effect on all crypto across the board. And the price of Bitcoin is going to go up substantially. Bitcoin's rising because of the halving coming out. I'm not a crypto expert, but I do understand supply and demand. Supply and demand is why everyone sucks my dick and not yours. Supply and demand. So supply and demand is definitely going to have a price. Going to have a positive reflection on the Bitcoin price. Bitcoin halving is going to be a big deal, I think. Because let me tell you something about life. Life is nothing but a hype fest. The more hype there is about something, the more valuable such thing is. E.g., let's look at fighting. If two big fighters are going to fight, Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, there's lots of hype, people care, that makes it valuable. If nobody cares, then there's no money. So hype is hype. So the halving is something which has only happened twice before. It's the third time. Everyone on Twitter is now talking about Bitcoin for the first time in a while. And hype sells. Fuck the halving. Fuck the math of the halving. The math of the halving, yes, should have a positive effect on Bitcoin. I'm talking more about everyone wanting to get involved again. People believing again. Do you understand that if you believe, it changes everything? You need to believe. Like the Matrix, you need to believe. So people are believing in Bitcoin. People are believing in Bitcoin, then bang, Bitcoin's going to be more valuable. Okay, what's more valuable? Something people believe in or something people don't believe in? Think about it. Take a second. Matter of fact, better buy BTC.
So like when MicroStrategy makes money and cash flows, we sweep our cash flow into Bitcoin. So we're dollar cost averaging or we're Bitcoin cost averaging. And when you earn money, if you understand Bitcoin is your treasury asset, every year you make some more money or every month or every quarter. And so you buy a bit more Bitcoin. And so yeah, the price of Bitcoin is going to adjust up based on the productivity of the ecosystem and the inflation. And of course, technology will just keep advancing. And so technology is going to drive down the cost of everything else, but is not going to drive down the price of Bitcoin. It's going to drive up the demand for Bitcoin and drive up the utility of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin will continue to appreciate due to adoption, technical utility, productivity of the people that use it, and then the fiat currency inflation rate in the frame of reference, whatever that is. And look, if God kings take over the world and they run if an AI ran the world perfectly, smarter than any human being has ever run the world, maybe they introduce the perfect fiat currency and they eliminate inflation in the fiat currency. So the future AI dollar has zero inflation, but it's a medium of exchange. And it's a great way for people to do accounting and the like. Bitcoin's still going up in value because the technical utility of Bitcoin is going to continue. And the productivity is going to continue. And the truth of the matter is there's always going to be chaos in the physical world. There's always going to be chaos in the political world. And that chaos it devalues currency, it devalues physical property, and it devalues companies because it's happening in the physical world, like that tidal wave. But that chaos is going to increase the value of Bitcoin for two reasons. There's a big idea. The first reason is as people lose confidence in the countries and the companies and the currencies, and their other assets, they'll run to Bitcoin. That's one reason chaos is an engine for Bitcoin. But the second reason is if you got drunk and you burned down your building, you would destroy capital. If you got angry and you destroyed your company, or you did a stupid thing, like maybe you produced the wrong product and nobody wanted to buy it and you bankrupted your company, you've destroyed capital. If you start a war and you bomb another country and you wipe out the entire city and all their factories, you've destroyed capital. So chaos in the real world destroys capital. But if you get drunk on a Saturday night and then you go swimming and you lose all your Bitcoin because you drop your hardware wallet in the ocean, or if you forget your seed phrase, or if you have it in your head and someone shoots you and it's gone forever, you've actually not destroyed the value. You've actually accreted the value of everybody else's Bitcoin, right? So chaos that destroys your keys and the Bitcoin that's lost is actually not lost. If I burn down half the buildings in the world, you've destroyed half of the real estate capital in the world. But if I lose half of the Bitcoin stored in hardware wallets or in your keys, I haven't lost anything. I've just doubled the value of everybody else's Bitcoin. So you see, chaos strengthens Bitcoin as an asset class and drives more capital into the asset class. whereas chaos is undermining everything else in the conventional 20th century economy. So that's, why I'm bullish on Bitcoin in general. And I think that as other people learn this, if they figure it out, as the education spreads, then you're owning a bunch of capital and you realize, oh my, I'm exposed to chaos on this side of my portfolio, and I benefit from chaos on this side of my portfolio. There's a famous book called Anti-Fragile, and the whole theory of anti-fragile is things that get stronger under disorder, right? Things that get better under chaos, right? So Bitcoin is that thing getting better under disorder, not getting weaker. And most everything else, every other idea is probably getting weaker under disorder.